All right, folks. Hey, welcome on back here this Tuesday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Great to have all of our students and members alike just rejoining us inside our live trading room, much like myself. Just got back to my desk just a little while ago. Not for too long, but great to see all of us though here otherwise. Great to see Gillis, Lynn, and Randy just before. I saw Mike just rejoining our trading room here. Always great to see Mike. Roberto's been killing it this week altogether. Grant always with us here. Just let me get a quick sound check just from all of us here right now. Just let me know if you got me over these airwaves. But Farzad, Leda, great to see you both. And well, if I got two of us, I got all of us though otherwise. So great to see you all. And hey, on Cyber Trading U, if you're on YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc., all of our socials and you know social media channels and streams alike, platforms, I should say. Losing train of my thought here. But down below at Cyber Trading U. I'll tell you what, we've had a great day all together because, well, BTAI is still trying to push right now, but just the whole market, right? We ended up having a pretty good drop off earlier where a bunch of, larger cap stocks provided for some good shorts, and even here a bit of a lower high. Actually, I still have my SPY graph up here. I'm back testing some strategy here, so just more in observer mode for the SPY. But I drew this earlier this morning, so it's funny how this played out. It didn't exactly come back up to this exact line, but you're looking for that resistance. You're looking for that lower high build, and seemingly the last hour plus we've gotten that so far. So we'll see what the afternoon brings us. But again, there's some good shorts out there, not even just the longs. But with that in mind, you got the BTAI trade, at least, which was on the screen to begin. It's still up 31% from yesterday, but it had a hell of a move already. We crushed it on this stock. This personally might be one of my better trades across this whole year. And I just mean that in terms of the singular stock, in terms of the run yesterday, into the run this morning in pre-market, into the run going into even now. We'd called this out off the opening print from yesterday heading into the early afternoon. It was looking to kind of break back above it here at the time, and I had shouted it out right here at this point at 11:30, basically. Look to see if this could become support. If this can act as clean support, there's a chance for a move. That was our first call out on this trade, and then from there, it's been nearly perfect. Had a great pop yesterday, even this morning, got us up towards our target that we had called out yesterday at 315. Now, at this point, we have our next target at 385 on this trade. So obviously going to put this on our watch list here just to begin, the BTAI stock. Now, here's the thing, though, on this. We've called this out from yesterday, and we do say it frequently, just generally speaking, with these smaller cap stocks. You're going to see common stock or direct stock offering. But they ended up filing Form 8, I think it was just yesterday morning it was. So we'll see when that news becomes official, confirmed with a common stock offering. But yeah, that will definitely tank the stock price. It's going to crush it. And that's not under our control. That could happen right here. So, at least for right now, if you see on the top right, I know one of our students, or a couple of our students, I should say, Lynn and Randy together, were asking, hey, where were you in from the BTAI just before my most recent entry on this, at least from earlier, in from 301, and then also the APLD trade. So let's go over to the APLD. That also is just beautiful. I took one loss on this earlier today, though, as it was pushing up going into 10 o'clock. I was looking for the higher high then, right place, wrong time. It wasn't even 14, though. It was also the closing bell print from yesterday. That was 1395 or 1397, one of the two. We'll find out right here. Where are we? APLD. There we go, right here. So from yesterday, 14, big resistance. That was just your iceberg level to work with all yesterday. Then going into the close, here's your closing print at 95, about 780,000 shares. Real quick for Grant, Philip, Barbara, all of our students, at least inside CTU, when we talk about green, what do we nickname the green as on time and sales? We actually went over this yesterday in our live workshop Traders Talk. But for our students enrolled in CTU classes, what do we got? Buyers, right? We call that buying pressure, buyers, right? The green on the tape. So at least going into the early afternoon, I saw this come back up. I was like, all right, let's see if this has one more push to it. The more times it keeps poking that area, I'd like to think we should get that big move. All right, well, it's a pretty decent move to start. I took half off the table already as this dragged back down a little bit. I wrote to you all, I think just a moment ago, at least I wrote this earlier, saying that I ended up taking half out at least. Oh, that was on the BTAI. Well, I also took half out on APLD as well because that smaller little order pop up here, it was already on a nice run from 14. I felt pretty justified to at least take some off the table. Now, the question is this going to be strong enough to get to 15 today, tomorrow, you name it. So I would love to see that happen. When I jumped in this trade, it wasn't meant as a swing trade, though. It was just meant as a day trade. So I really don't have as much emotion towards holding overnight. I think there's plenty of other fishies out there in the ocean for me to catch, whether I hold on to this overnight or not. So with that said, I'm going to keep it as a day trade. But I don't mind putting this back on our watch list though for the afternoon. Who's calling me right now on my phone? I got my phone here. Should I pick up right now? Who's calling me on my phone? All right, let's go right from top to bottom here. Otherwise, see what we can grab going into the afternoon. I'll tell you, we've had a great day otherwise, not just these two stocks, but also the CWD. I guess I should start with this one here, YMAB. It's a buyout, so we'll move away from it here pretty quick. But otherwise, yeah, YMAB looks like a buyout. Those don't move. CWD, great pop from earlier. Nice morning move that this one had. Now, hey, like where we talk about cyber clock and reversal hour. All right, well, what time did this top off? I mean, not exactly on the nose at 10:30, but give or take 15 minutes. So it had a good trend. Saw some nice wicks here, which would lead you to think there's a chance for this to like at least blast way higher or try and flip this area into support. So it did make for a good push, but then lower highs, lower low, game over. So yeah, we're done with that one. It was a nice trade though while it lasted. Same with this here, SMXT. This actually had much better liquidity on the order book, good spread, good volume, nice icebergs. And with that, it broke out here going into pre-market when Fausto was doing the meeting. Then after the market opened up here shortly within the first few minutes here. But hey, we move on from these stocks pretty quick because they're kind of flavor of the day, if not maybe even flavor of the hour. Kind of focus on other things. Like GV here. Like, hey, we didn't know that GV would be making a nice little push at this time, at least from earlier. So now this stock here is up about 49-50%, lingering around the VWAP price here in baby blue. Good spread. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind adding this to our list. I do appreciate more of the afternoon move than anything. More activity, more volume coming in across the afternoon session. But, we'll see if this holds. We'll add it to our list for now. Oh, you know what I got to do here, actually? I knew I had to do this. Just give me a moment. STTK, not looking half bad, honestly, here. It's more of a tease, kind of slow stock. It's going sideways, which is better than breaking lower. But let me actually just do this here quick. Forgot to jack up my volume filter, at least for right now. Eliminate all the low volume stuff, right? All right, BTAI, needless to be said. Got some decent trends, but those stocks like TDW normally don't trade a lot of volume day to day and not really doing it here. ARDX flat. Palantir, of course, we should talk about. So PLTR had a great push going off earnings from last night into the open, but pulled back with the market open today. Where we talk about large cap stocks and with the market drop off that we had earlier, just rule of thumb. I feel like most people know this, even if you're on the social media checking us out here. A little like free tip of the day. It's a kind of common sense more than anything. But when a stock is coming off good news, I know the market's dropped off here, and this could have been a short. I wouldn't look to try and short something that's coming off red hot news. If anything, if there's a trade coming off bad news or has a weaker trend overall, wouldn't be a bad thought. Intel here actually had a pretty good pop, at least going into the open. I know normally they don't have a great long-term trend, so that would be a thought there at least. But we'll go down the losers list in just a moment. We'll see what was decent drop off going into the day today. Ondas, ONDS, nice push from yesterday. We all but got to our 270 level, which was our target. Obviously pushed above that a lot going into today. It's still near the highs. I don't mind kind of like putting this on our list on the back end, but there's probably better day trades to work with going into the close. And that's all right. It's been a great swing trade. What was that one? NFE. This one's not looking half bad. Creeping back up slowly but surely. Order book is pretty decent. You got an iceberg here at 337. Order on the ESC also 344. Basically 350 is your largest right there, but we'll come back to it if we need to. Come back to it. The MPX not looking half bad. Red Cat had a good pop. Quantum was a hot hand today. You had like Quantum, Nuclear, and the air taxi stocks collectively all did pretty nice here. But for the afternoon, you want to see a stock near at the highs. So if they just kind of popped and dropped, then that's pretty much it. We'll focus on them tomorrow. QUBT is still kind of lingering here. This is the one of the quantums that had news that came out this morning. whatever news that came out. I'm not going to fetch it right now for us. It's just to say higher lows, and it still needs to blast pre-market high here or resistance. But not only that, but we went back on the long-term graph for this. And I'll tell you, I mean, I just like showing this from time to time because we've discussed this all throughout the day today, at least with the QUBT trade. And we've had historical resistance from this weekly chart. And I've been typing it in the chat board all throughout the day. Right at 1714 to 1727. If that could flip into support over time, I could see a move up towards 19. So we've had our eyes on this area since 8:30 in the morning, right? Since 8:30, we've been calling that out. And that's just where I'll say here, at least, if this wants to make a better move going into the close, well, it looks like it's got to blast above this and stay above this. I don't mind putting this on our watch list, though, just to give it a chance again. QUBT has a good order book. We've grown to like the stock a lot, so that's nice. MSTZ, now, is Bitcoin dropping off right now? Not Bitcoin as much, but MSTR definitely is. It's not down like 5+%, but where I point to on the gainers list, this is inverse. This will go opposite to the MSTR, equity. So I could add the MSTZ just in hopes of if MSTR drops off more, you don't need to really short the stock anymore. You could try and long the inverse ETF. So not a bad thought there, actually. All right. AU's having a good day. Shout out to Grant here in our chat board. I don't know why I said that with an accent, Grant. Rolled the tongue. Let's see. QBTS. That's probably one of the healthier long-term charts for the quantums, but that's kind of slow now. Rocket's been a pretty healthy long-term chart of recent. Nice move back up here. And it is breaking higher from last week and the week before. So I like to see that. All right. I don't mind adding the RKT at least for now. We'll put this on our list. And that's pretty much it, though, at least for the gainer side. If there's anything else looking good, Kathleen, Michael, Brad, Steven, all of us just here in chat, you let me know. That. Got a wide price range for this one, I guess, don't I? Let's see here. Any good shorts, anything down a lot that you could try and maybe even dead cat bounce if it's not going to break lower? So, of course, we'll get to HIMS here, HIMS. This is the ETF, HIMZ. I mean, this is pretty much making new lows or is about to right here, it seems. So, I feel so good about getting out on my swing trade here. Oh, my God, this is great. We talked about this from a couple of weeks back at this point, but the gap fill opportunity, we saw HIMS fill this gap, and that's all I was looking for. So, yeah, broke a little higher. I can care less, right? I don't think we can give a what about that at this point because, last thing you want to do is try and hold on and then look for more, only to have this make lower highs, and then earnings come out yesterday, and then they're not up to expectations, then bam. Actually had a great bounce here and going into the open. Really nice day trade, at least for a couple of us that were able to catch this early on, but yeah, give us the good old Christmas tree pattern here, almost here, clean going down, a little lopsided. But, on the way down here, I don't mind adding the HIMS just as a short. See if this breaks lower or not. Micro strategy down. How's Coinbase doing? Because I saw a few of us talk about ConL, which is the cheaper alternative to Coinbase. This is basically at the low of the day. So, you know what? If I add the MSTR, I feel like I'll add the Coinbase. All right, cool. Now, I'll tell you what, we've already built up a pretty decent watch list here, folks. If there's anything else looking good, up, down, left, right, more than 5%. Sentinel 1 here not looking half bad. Is a short. Galaxy probably getting beat up. Oh, actually, a little bounce, pardon me. And got beat up earlier, but Jobby. Wow. I'll tell you what, Fausto, I know, has got to be feeling happy about this. It's, bittersweet in the moment, but he made some really good money on this trade. So, just once he got out, it's a matter of, did I sell too late? Should I have gotten out right here? Well, when it keeps breaking lower, well, that's where any hesitation or uncertainty of that, just, it's like, okay, I got out at the right time because I made a lot of money on this trade. Fausto was in from 1730, I think. Got out at 20. That's a hell of a trade. And then only see it break like another dollar lower here at the time. So it's a really good exit from Fausto on that. And now heading into the afternoon, it's just more of a sideless stock. It's not really doing as much here for us. If you got in off 19 long, you're up a little bit, but yeah, for right now, I think that we're moving on for this at least until tomorrow. That's all. All right, so for Roberto and then Lynn and Randy, Barbara, Grant, all of us just here in chat, let me know if there's anything else you'd want me to check out before we finish. Uriah says, where do you get quick stock news and updates? Right here inside this live trading room, my friend. That's why you got to be right here each and every day. No, I tease. That's partially true, to be honest with you. But that's where myself and Rich have Benzinga Pro. So we get our news directly from here. And we have our scans, our calendar. We got a lot from Benzinga Pro. So, it's just to say, at least, the more that you're here in this room, we always post the news promptly or at least on time as the stocks are moving. But yeah, you don't need to go out yourself and get that software since we use it here for you. All right, from Mike INV. What Mike likes to do is Mike likes these pharma stocks. Mike see in our trading room is one of our longtime students. He likes trading these small cap stocks, but he'll swing trade them. So he has some good intel on some of these, and he's done pretty well on some recent. So it's not necessarily our style of trading. The stock here is about 331,000 shares right now. So it's definitely something to keep a small eye on, but we're probably going to pass on it for today, Mike. I appreciate it though. Nice trade yourself though. I gotta tell you, everyone's got their own cup of coffee that they order. If you're not a fan of your cup of coffee and you want to learn how to make our cup of coffee, we teach that in our classes, right? So, right now I want to kind of keep more towards that, more towards what we primarily focus on, what we primarily teach. Go through our Benzinga list at least here, though, before we wrap it up. So CWD looks dead. ELW. Oh, you know what? I gotta filter this though. See, going into the afternoons, you gotta play around with your scanners a little bit, jack up the volume on all these. So ARDX, we said we'd come back to this one a little slow. I'm gonna pass on it for right now. Listen, we got the BTAI. There's no need to add any more, not just with this one stock, but listen, we got APLD as well, potentially for one more push. We got a whole laundry list of trades that we put on our watch list at least here. So, going into the close, folks, we'll be back on coming up in just about 10, 15 minutes. If you're just joining us inside our live trading room, there we go. Posting it early right there for you. If you're Mike, Uriah, Leda, Sam, all of us just inside the chat. But if you're on social media, though, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, actually got a lot of us here for a Tuesday afternoon. Appreciate you folks as always. But down below at Cyber Trading You, just be a friend, tell a friend. Look to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you are on LinkedIn, X, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all these social media channels. I can't keep up. I think that we're still on TikTok. If we are on TikTok, I'm not dancing for you here, but we teach you how to trade the smart money, right? So that's where we invite you to join us inside our live trading room, though. Otherwise, go right down to the link scrolling down just on the bottom below in blue. I guess my shirt is matching the banner today, isn't it? There we go. I didn't plan that, but there we go. All right, folks. But hey, c2.co/trial. Look to join us exclusively inside our live trading room. We look forward to seeing you there. But again, for about the 111 of us here right now inside our room, just stay tuned. We'll be back live in just a moment, just coming up shortly after 3 p.m. Take care.